doing something that I wasn't 100% sure on anyways, and it was kind of making me, I was doing this, like college, I don't even want to be there. It wasn't what I wanted to do 100%. Like looking at my bank account and being like, okay, I have more debt than I have money. When I looked at that bank account, I was like, I don't want to ever be in this position again. My parents were like, no, being a tattooer, they laughed at it, right? It's not what you're going to do. That's not going to be your career. The COVID area, and I think that was my pivotal moment. It gave me time to think and research a lot more and see what I could do. If you do what you love every day, it's like you're not really working. Find your thing that you love, right? Because if you're stuck like working at like a factory or something that you hate every day, like that time is going to go by so slower, and the time that you're like relaxing or chilling is going to go by so much faster.
Welcome to another episode of The Founder's Path. Today I'm with Kyle Johnson, the owner of Hive and Neon tattoo shops, what you call them basically?
Tattoo studios.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
So tell us a little about what it is that you do kind of like on a day-to-day. What's the company's about? Tell us what you do.
We have I have 4 tattoo studios, the Hive and Neon, and so we do tattoos at the one and tattoos and piercings at the other one.
Yeah. So the reason I was really excited to have you on today because I've kind of like learned a little bit about your story and kind of like read into a lot of things that have happened to you in the past, and I think there's so much learning from your experience. Because I know you originally started off you partnered with a couple of guys in COVID time.
Yep.
So that isn't a struggle in itself.
Yep.
Then you had a lot of things kind of go on when you were starting Hive, and even in the past, there were always a little bit of a challenge for you when you were starting the businesses. You started off, tell me a little bit about the business that you had before, like during COVID. You had a business with your buddies when you started off.
Yeah, so we had Blackgate Tattoo. In Strathroy.
Yeah.
So that was all good, but I just thought I had more, like I could do more, right? I had more potential. So COVID gave me a lot of time at home just to sit, think, do numbers, right? And then just kind of think about what I could do, like what I could do better, right? And I was getting a lot of my clients were coming from Sarnia. So I thought, why are they all coming from Sarnia, right?
Yeah.
And looked into it more. There was a few shops there.
Yeah.
But not like London. Like London had so many shops, right? Even back then.
Right?
Yeah. So,
what was the biggest challenge like opening up during COVID time? Because a lot of businesses opened, but then basically it just didn't work out.
Yeah,
around that time.
It was a challenge for Blackgate because it was still kind of new, right? So I started at Neon, and then went to like start my own, right? And then, COVID hitting. We had people messaging all the time, wanted to come in. We tried the whole backdoor thing, right? We're getting people in, just kind of like nonchalant, but then we'd have people call the cops being like, really? It's a tattoo studio. And I feel like because it's a tattoo studio, it's just like people still have that taboo against it, right? They think we're doing bad stuff in there, right?
100%.
Like I was telling you before, like my parents, when I thought they thought we were like, selling drugs out the back and all biker stuff, right? So I wanted to kind of change that image. Right?
Yeah.
And COVID kind of gave me, I guess, as much as it did suck being home all the time, it kind of gave me that opportunity to research, do the numbers, like with 3 other business owners, you have one person kind of one way, one person another way, and I was kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to be like extremely too by the book, but I also didn't want to be too loose, like with the hours and everything, right? So I kind of found that balance that worked for me.
Touching a little bit on like the parents thing, because I think that's very significant. A lot of business owners, I think, when they, even like Maddie talked about this, when you first start off, I think people are always so against what you want to do. Just to like, you're always gonna have like your biggest haters be like the people closest to you. Yeah. How did that impact you when you were starting the business? Like, was it in the back of your head, like that? Your parents.
It was there. Yeah, my parents aren't big risk takers in that way.
Yeah.
Right. So, like I said, I started police foundations, right? So they're pushing me to do something after high school, right? Which a lot of parents do.
Yeah.
They want you to do something. And like one of the things was police foundations. I found it kind of interesting. It was one of the things you didn't have to take math.
Yeah.
For. So it's well, I didn't have to take grade 12 math. So I'm like, what I looked at my options, I thought it'd be kind of a cool job. So as I was doing that, like I'd be in class, like I feel like, I don't know if it's ADHD or something, but I'd always be like doodling, drawing stuff. I used to always draw like flames or doodling where the teacher's talking, right? And people would like look over, like, oh, that's cool. Like design me a tattoo. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? So then I kind of started getting tattoos, like seeing the industry. Like I had a couple bad experiences with getting them, right? Like I'd go to the shop and be waiting there and the guy'd be like an hour late, right? Yeah. So be like, what kind of like business is he running, right? Like, but that's kind of how it was then, right? Kind of come and go, like biker style stuff, right? It was kind of like, do you trust the guy to come in? Like I would drive from Strath to London and the guy wouldn't be there, right? So, and I'd just go home, right? So it'd be like a waste of time. So I didn't want to like, one of my goals with the business is not wanting somebody to feel how I felt then.
Yeah,
right? Like driving in, nervous, kind of like, nervous driving into London.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And like kind of a sketchy part.
Yeah.
I was like, why not, have a business in a nice part,
Mm-hmm.
be there before the client's there.
Yeah.
And that's huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it sounds like you're kind of you've made something that has had like kind of a bad reputation in the past, but you've changed it into something that's like a proper, legitimate
business. And that's what I was kind of like with the parent thing, right? What I was trying to tell my parents, explain to them. They had the worry like, oh, what if, like if you have these shops, if you go out on your own, what if the artists are stealing from you, or they didn't understand that their artists are what they are now, right?
Yeah.
They're like, well, what if they're stealing? What if they're taking money? What if what if this? What if that? Like, what if you go broke? They still call me and they're like, oh, how's business? Like, asking about bills. Can you pay the bills? Can you pay the bills still, right? And like, it's funny now, right? When they ask that, but then it was a worry, right? Like I would go in, like when I was started at Neon Crab sometimes, right? Like it was so. I feel like the industry then. You'd be sitting around a lot waiting for walk-ins. You'd be sitting like on our phones playing games. Oh, there's a walk-in, who wants it kind of thing. To being booked, like post-COVID, like over a year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now it's calmed down a little bit, but like after COVID, everybody wanted in, right? It was the thing you couldn't get.
100%.
So people wanted to get it, right?
How do you think you did a really good job at basically taking something that has a really bad reputation, where a lot of people are scared to go in and busy and all that stuff, to something a lot more professional, and kind of has that really like business look to it?
Yeah, I think the main thing that I did was I had the image in my head and I stuck with it and went that direction. A lot of people, as soon as they walk in, they're like, "Wow, this place is nice," right? Like a lot of people, like we get some people now that are like older clients, right? That could be like their 70s, 80s that have never thought about ever getting a tattoo. Oh, wow. They walk in and they're like, "Oh wow, like this doesn't look like a tattoo shop, right?" Like they'll be like, then they start getting interested. They start thinking about it. They start seeing like how clean it is, right? And that's the thing we talked about, was the cleanliness, right? You walk in, it looks clean, it smells good, right? Like it just has that look that is comforting, right? Yeah. So with Sarnia, like I have a big open kind of area, right? It's got like the old antique couches and it's all like black, white, gold. We have this like look throughout the whole shop, and I think people walk in, they see that, they're comfortable, right? They're asking questions. If they're scared, like one thing that kind of like when I was first starting out, there was a lot of heavy metal music playing. Yeah. And like I like nothing against it, but it's not my thing. And when it's loud, it's screaming. Like, how do you even have a conversation with somebody about what you want? Absolutely. If that's like that was a huge thing, right? And like respect to the people who like that, but even sometimes I won't even play the music that I like. Like if I have a client that's coming in, I'm not gonna play like rap, right? Yeah. Like that's if it's a little bit of an older client, right? I'll kind of play something more chill, right? Something that I think that they might like, or like if I know that they're like, country, like anything, right? Something that's just chill in the background, or some sort of background stuff, or I have a TV now that I can, they can watch something, right? It makes them more comfortable. It's not really about what I want, it's more about what the client experience wants. Yeah. And that was a big thing for me that I hated, right? I didn't like the music. So when I'm hearing it all the time, or like, when there's a lot of like cursing and stuff like that, like this doesn't need to be, like it was kind of like the thing then, right? Yeah. But it doesn't need to be. Absolutely. So that was a big thing for me. It's changing that, right?
So now so you have 4 locations now. So you have 2 Hive locations, which is Sarnia and London, and then 2 Neon, which also happens to be Sarnia and London. Yeah. How do you handle being a tattoo artist, but also running 4 different businesses? Yeah.
That's the difficult part, right? Because still from day one, like I'm a tattoo artist, right? And that's kind of still my main thing. Like when I wake up in the morning, like my routine would be, still getting ready for that client that I have for the day. It's nice when I have a day off, because it's like, okay, now I can focus on business. So like when I do the tattoo, it's usually the tattoo comes first, the client comes first, and then I start thinking about the business. But throughout the day, like there'll be lots of times I have to deal with business while I'm tattooing, right? Yeah. So like I could be in the middle of a tattoo, get a call, this is broken, or this person didn't show up, or anything, right? A client didn't show up, or the artist didn't show up, right? Like I have like 30 artists now. Oh, so there's always something that could happen, right? And that's just so like the business is always there, but like I still think like tattooing is like I'm both, right? I gotta kind of have.
What adjustments are you making to allow yourself to, I guess, like step back a little bit to become a business owner, to make sure everything's fully functioning? Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm in the middle of right now, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to right now I'd say like I do both, but right now I'm trying to set aside more days to be at the shops. Like I want to start doing that now, especially with like the spring and the nice weather. Like in the winter, it's hard for me to go to Sarnia, right? Like we'll have a meeting or something. Like this winter's been brutal, and
was heading there, I had to wait 2 hours. There's a transport truck, right? Like was crashed on the highway. So I just turned around and came back, right? So it's like, well, there's my plan for the day was to go meet, and I feel bad that I'm not there as much as I should be.
Yeah.
And like I still do focus on tattooing first, right? But I do want the businesses to succeed.
Yeah.
And I want to focus on like talk to everybody, see like what changes they want to make too, right?
Yeah.
Because like I do, like, you can have a vision in your head of how you want it to be, but when you start getting other people, they have like the shop might not run the same when I'm not there, right?
Yeah. What's one piece of advice that you would give to someone starting off like a business from scratch, from your experience? What's like one essential thing that you're like, this needs to happen?
I think starting off now is a lot different than when I started.
Yeah.
When I started, like there was shops doing the same thing, right? Trying to get that like clean, like aesthetic and like just change the whole vibe of the tattoo world, right? Now it's already been done, right? So you have so many shops that are very nice out there.
Yeah.
So I think now to be different, that's where it's hard, right? I think that's a lot of people are starting their own shops. They've kind of like got it, and then they kind of get this idea in their mind that it's cool to have your own, but it's hard right now, right? Because there's so many shops, so many artists, and I feel like they just keep multiplying, especially after COVID, right?
Yeah. Like since 2021, I guess, has there been a pivotal moment that's kind of like gotten you to where you are today?
I think like you bring up 2021, like the COVID area, and I think that was my pivotal moment, right? As much as it did suck, it gave me time to think and research a lot more and see what I could do, right? So yeah, and then if something else like that happened again, which luckily it hasn't, but like what you could do to prepare for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Would you say that was one of the biggest lessons that you learned through your journey, is essentially how to take a step back and like
slow down a bit, because like when I started getting really busy, it was just tattoo after tattoo after tattoo, and then I guess when COVID, it's like, okay, I'm doing really well, the shop should be making more than what I thought maybe it could be making, so then it let me slow down, take a look at the books, and maybe that's what I should do more now to going forward, right? But yeah, it did give me that opportunity to be like, okay, well, we're spending a lot of money here, which they still might want to, like the other, like that's what, like a big moment from going to 3 co-owners to being
by yourself.
Myself, yeah.
Yeah. Is there a certain habit that you've implemented in your life now that you think has helped you a lot to be able to manage like the stress in your life with having 4 locations, plus now congratulations, you have a baby.
Yep.
And then getting married, all that stuff. Is there habits that you've built in your life to help you through all that?
I think a good habit is like being early. Like we talked about before, like being early for that client, right? Like you start your day late, you're already so much behind, even if you're a few minutes late, right? So I try and like tell the artist this all the time, like be a few, like at least 15 minutes. I'm usually an hour early at the shop, right? I kind of like in case anything happens, right? In case the printer's not working, in case this, in case that, a lot of the times the client will come early, right? So if you're half an hour late, which is like a common thing for artists, right? Like I said before, like my first artist that I went to, he was an hour late, right? So if you're a half an hour late and your client comes a half an hour early, they've already been sitting there for that time, right? 100%. They're anxious. They're sitting there that time getting more and more anxious, right? It's like, be early, be there, ready, show them the design. They're comfortable. Here's water, you know what I mean? Like, so, I think that's like starting the day early is just, and being ready for the day, ready for that client. It helps you with everything else. Like when I'm done for the day, I'm done at a reasonable time. I get to go home, have that family time, right? So if I was late and then this gets pushed back, and then by the time you get home, like it just ruins your whole routine, right?
Yeah.
So having that strong start.
Yeah. So a part of these episodes, we're a financial planning practice. So of course, some of the things that we like to talk about is the financial aspect of building a business. How was that challenging for you in the beginning? Like what were the financial struggles that you've gone through throughout the business?
Yeah. So like my first financial struggle in life, I guess, was college, right? So we talk about college. I was doing something that I wasn't 100% sure on anyways, and it was kind of making me broke, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the first time looking at my bank account and being like, okay, I have more debt than I have money, which is the first time I seen that, right? Like I was always pretty good with money. My parents always taught me to be good with money. Yeah. But that was the first time, and I'm like, I'm doing this like college. I don't even want to be there, right? And it wasn't what I wanted to do 100%, right? And like you said, like at the time, like my parents were like, no, being a tattooer, they laughed at it, right? They're like, oh, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be at a shop selling drugs out the back. It's not what you're going to do. That's not going to be your career. And I was like, okay, so that I picked that, right? So that I feel like that financial struggle with college made me, when I looked at that bank account, I was like, I don't want to ever be in this position again.
Yeah.
So then I learned to save, right? I guess COVID was also another financial struggle because you save all this money. You're used to making, like, tattoo artists, we make good money, right?
Yeah.
You're used to making a certain amount of money a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get that taken away and you're relying on a government check, that, you know, it goes, like, if you already have, like, you're already spending a certain amount, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're used to that, right? You have, like, a house, you have whatever to pay for, right? Luckily for me, I bought into the housing industry early.
Yeah.
Like, so I bought a house early, and that helped me a lot. Yeah. But I still had to pay for it, right? So with COVID, you're spending a lot more than it's coming in.
How did you handle that, like, mentally, just from like a
stressful for sure. Yeah. You just think that, like, I was always thinking about, like, getting other jobs too, right? With COVID, like, I'm like, what could I do to make more income, right? Instead of sitting at home, like, being depressed, right? Like, you wake up and you're like, what am I even going to do today? And I applied to some things. And it's funny because I thought, like, maybe I was overqualified for some of these things I applied for and never heard back, right? So I'm like, how do I make money, right? So I did look into investments, the stock market, a little bit of that. But at that time too, it's wild, right?
Course,
so you have no idea. But you just hope that it would end soon, and then you get right back into it. Yeah. Keep in touch with your clients, right? A lot of people will be asking, get me in the back, can you still tattoo me? And you feel for them because they want to get something done too. But of course, just keeping in touch with them. Yeah.
Was there anyone that you leaned on when you were starting the businesses? I know you mentioned you used to work at Neon. A while ago. Was there anyone that you, like, leaned on when you were starting your business, even, like, the first start in your location, London? Like, was there someone that you got to help you out from, like, a mentorship perspective, or was it just kind of by yourself?
Not really, like, for the business. Like, my mentors, like, were the two guys who I started the business with. So they were my mentors in tattooing. And, like, I also got to see, like, with the business, right, start that with them. So they were great mentors in tattooing for sure. But we had very different, not even that much different. Like, we still wanted that clean tattoo shop vibe and give the clients a good impression, but their business ideas were a little different. So great mentors in tattooing for sure. Like, that helped a lot, right? So I pictured, like, the business and tattooing is so different, right? So do I have mentors in tattooing? Yes. For business, a lot of it was just me.
How do you figure it out? Like, where for someone who's watching, who is a business owner, who's just trying to, like, who's just out there by themselves, how did you figure it out? Was it just kind of, like, experimental, or just learned on the job?
I guess a lot of it's, like, life experience, right? Like, so from the very first start of getting a tattoo, what my experience was there was awful, right? So taking that, and then at Neon, right, like, kind of seeing how he ran it, and then we thought, we could start our own, like, that shop was great and all, but we had a different vision. So then from that vision, I had my vision, right, and take a step back and So I guess for that, I never really had anybody guide me in that business sense.
From the tattoo side of it, do you think it was really important for you to have someone who you could look up to?
Yes, definitely. I think that's a big thing right now. A lot of people are jumping into it. I think, like, after COVID, people were going on Amazon, getting machines and just messing people up, right? The biggest thing I had was my mentors in tattooing. They taught me so much, and, like, even now, like, we try and bring on apprentices and stuff like that, and I feel like I'm still not maybe giving them what I got as an apprentice. Like, I feel like I was very lucky.
Is that something that you feel like is really important for you to also add into your skill set to be able to give to other people?
And that's where kind of, like, taking a step back from tattooing. And then trying to kind of help out the artists, right? Get them busy as I was. So I learned from, like, their, like, I could see what they were good at that made them really busy, like the mentors I had, and take that. And so say if I seen him post something, say, on social media, and he could spend time and do this amazing, like, piece, right? But it would get, like, no likes. Then he'd do, like, some, like, fine line flowers, and it would get all these likes, right? And that's kind of what took off for me was like, I never wanted to do, like, fine line or realism when I first started. It wasn't what I was envisioning, but then I saw that that's what people wanted. And if you do what people want, then people are going to see that, and it's going to get more and more. I think that's what helped with my, like, me getting busy.
Cool. What drives you? Like, what drives you day to day? What's the thing you're passionate about that makes you continue to show up for the business every single day?
Well, the industry in general, like, the whole industry, like, that kind of change that we talked about, and seeing how that's changed, and just giving the clients a good experience, right? That's what I want to kind of do every day, is knowing that if there are any of the 4 shops, that they're getting a good experience.
Is there, are you trying to grow the businesses now? I know we kind of talked about this briefly before we even recorded, but I know you kind of have, like, a vision to eventually potentially grow the business. How do you think you're going to do that?
Yeah, right now I think I'm going to focus on like the 4 that I have and making them busier, getting that in instead of trying to take on too many, like trying to look at another city. Like that always could be a possibility if something comes up. Like I never thought that I was going to take on Neon, but when he reached out to me and I looked at the paperwork, looked at the idea, it was kind of maybe like a once in a lifetime shot, right?
Yeah.
And I looked at it like he wanted to sell all 6, but I looked at it, these 2 were the best for me, right? And I go to Sarnia anyways.
Yeah.
I already have one in London, so that worked out the best for me. So if something else, it could just fall in your lap like that, right? But it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, of course.
But that did for me. Like he reached out to me first, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. What's the biggest? I know we kind of talked about the slowing down side of it. What's another lesson that your last like 5-6 years in the business has shown you for like just from the entrepreneurial perspective of it? Like what's an essential thing that every business owner should be good at?
You got to like dealing with like your staff, like dealing with the artists for me, right? Dealing with people, finding out like who's worth like, investing your time in and who's worth, it might be better to just let them go, right? Or if you like having a disagreement with somebody, if they don't like the way that it's going, well, they're working for me, right? So like you can work at another shop, right? So I've had that before where, someone could be mad at me for whatever reason. It's like, well, why not go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then there's people who are, great artists and you want to keep them, great personality, great with their clients. So you might change like their chair rental or change the commission base a little bit to keep them around, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah. You kind of you work to keep the ones that you want, and sometimes you just got to let people go.
Yeah. How do you manage 30 different artists?
Personalities.
Their personalities.
it's hard,
yeah,
definitely hard. But kind of being, as a business owner, I think you got to kind of be like, you can't really be like one-sided to anything really, right? Like you can have that vision, but if everybody's against it and they're all like working for you, and you want to keep them all, like you got to kind of change your ways a little bit too, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think you just got to work with everybody individually. Most people are pretty good. They kind of do their own thing, and some people are so high one way and another way, right? So it's good to it's nice to have the different shops because it's kind of, they're put in place where, certain artists are at the shop get along better than these ones, right? Like it's so different.
Yeah.
Like it's like these people may not get along with, you know what I mean? Like it's just so like, even though they're all artists, they're so different. So
where do you do a lot of your learning now? Like, are you like big on like podcasts? Do you listen to do you read any books? Like how do you grow your education as a business owner?
It's funny. A lot of it is like AI now.
Yeah.
So I'll do a lot of like, people always say, oh, you're always talking to ChatGPT. You're always talking, and if ChatGPT, like, and then I'll talk to Gemini. Like, I'll talk to both, right? It's kind of weird. Like, but it's like, and I know you had the question about the book.
Yeah.
Like, what's your, like, the,
like a book that you read
for somebody, but like, I've never really read a book.
Yeah. Fair.
Like I read, like, I'm not saying that I don't read because I'm always reading, but like, I feel like that's like so many books in one, right? So that's a big thing right now is AI for me.
Yeah.
Just chatting with them, if I have like a conflict, and I'll just be like, how. Before I just go out and, because like before I would just kind of go out and do something or say something out of anger or out of like whatever, right? But now it's like kind of take the step back, talk to someone, but it could be, an AI bot, and just be like, hey, what are my options here? What's going to be the outcome of this, right? Kind of think about the outcome before, right? Instead of just being like, getting mad at somebody telling them to leave, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they worth keeping around like an artist? And like, what's going to be my pros and cons, right? Like,
have you found that help? Like, have you found that actually helped you?
Oh, yeah.
A lot?
Yeah, I use it all the time. Yeah, for business, for tattooing, and which is a funny thing right now because it's such a controversial topic, AI, right? In the tattoo industry, for sure, right? A lot of people, it's huge now that it's turning. A lot of people are sending their reference photos. It's AI. They've like put it on there, like they've put it on their phone, and they'll show us now, right? Versus before, like we kind of showed them a design. Now they kind of have that idea.
Yeah.
Which could be good or bad, right? It could be an idea that they think like, they want a portrait or something on their finger, but it's like they get AI to draw it up and it's not going to look like that. It's not going to heal,
absolutely.
Right? But you can use it in ways, right? Whereas some artists are completely against it. They're so mad about it, right?
Yeah.
So like I find like you got to have that middle ground.
Yeah.
But you can use it to your advantage, right? Like why not?
How has it been running a business but also being a new parent?
It's very busy.
Yeah.
Very tiring, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like I go to work and then I come home and it's work, right?
Yeah.
But it's also amazing, right? You can't really explain how amazing it actually is, right? So it's all worth it for sure.
Has she changed because I know we're going to talk about your why a little bit, and I want to touch on that, but has it changed the reason why you're even doing what you're doing?
I don't think it's changed like why I'm doing it, but it's maybe changed like kind of, I guess, what to do with the money now for the future.
Yeah.
So now I have a lot of time, like, because I'm sitting with her a lot, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, she's starting to crawl around and stuff. So I'm like with her. So like I'm kind of like, what else am I gonna do, right? Like once the tattooing's done, the business side of stuff is done. I've dealt with everything. Then I'm like, okay, well, when this money starts to come in, like, what do I think about for a future for her, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like looking into, you know, like different investments, like stocks, crypto, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Right? I just have the time now to do that, right?
Yeah.
And with AI and stuff like that, I can talk to them too, right?
Absolutely,
Like, you know what I mean? And just see like, oh, what's this gonna be like in 10 years? What's this gonna be, right? So, so it's helped me kind of make like financial changes for the future versus thinking about now, like wanting the money now, doing it now. It's like, what can I take the money that's coming in? Obviously I need to, like, you know, set aside for taxes and all that stuff. But it's like, well, with my money that I'm making from tattooing, what can I do with that to provide a future for her, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
So starting like a separate bank account, stuff like that, and trying to invest it. That's one thing I wish I learned about earlier was investing, right? Because you can like if your money's just sitting there, you kind of actually it loses value over time,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
So if you're, you know, thinking about the future, you can make money on money just sitting there, right?
100%.
It's like tattoo industry, there's a lot of cash, right? So like where can I put that cash instead of it just sitting in a safe? Absolutely. Or just sitting somewhere. Yeah. What can I do with it to make more money for her or for like the family or myself or more business stuff, like, right? So
What is your why? I guess like what is and I know that might sound like a very vague question, but just like what is your passion in life that you are doing this for?
Yeah, like I guess it's kind of changed throughout the years, right? Like when I'm starting, like I was younger, right? So like being a tattoo artist, that why is, you know, it's cool. It's you're making some money for yourself, right? It's a cool thing to do. You're putting some cool pieces on people, and then it kind of turned into like I wanted to focus on a certain style of like I said, like the fine line or the realism and be like the best at that. So that was my why then. Now that I'm starting to kind of do the switch more to the business, I guess, like still providing the clients with that great experience, and but also like providing for my family and you know trying to make a good income, right? Like trying to make a lot of money if I can. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah,
no, that makes a lot of sense. Like I said, I think we talked to this, and I told you this off camera. Like I think your journey is so relatable because it started off from you were in school, didn't know what you wanted to do, ended up in a path that you didn't want to actually be in. Yeah. And you ended up taking that risk that your family was kind of like against, which again, I think many people and many listeners are in those situations, right? They want to do something, but they have that external pressure from other people. Yeah. And they don't end up taking those risks. But you did, and it's worked out.
It's worked for me,
far.
Yes. Some people it doesn't, right? But it did work for me, and I get to do what I love every day, right? And now I found a new love, which is the business side of it, right? Like I love tattooing and at the start, right? Yeah. But now I can do something that not a lot of people get to do, right? Yeah. And I've also had the experience, you know, before all this, working at a job where you're working a lot of long hours and the time goes by so slow. Like I've dealt with that, right? There's a lot of people coming into the tattoo industry, never having a job before, and they're making good money right away, right? And then so it was good for me to have that because I realized like, you know, how long it took to make that money at then and how easy it is to make it now if I just go in for a quick tattoo, right? Yeah. So I feel like everything that happened in my life kind of worked out for a reason for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. What would you say? Would you say opening up that first location in Sarnia was the biggest risk that you've ever taken?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Especially like with the COVID factor, right? Like not knowing if it was going to keep going on. But yeah, definitely a huge risk, right? So I lived in Strathroy all my life, right? Had both shops there, and then so now I'm moving. So starting a whole new shop at a place that I didn't know, but also moving there, right?
How did you evaluate that risk? Like what made you feel comfortable with that risk?
I think it was the amount of clients that I was getting from Sarnia. So just knowing that if I went there with and I could like get some other artists there too, like with the knowledge I had and the skill that I had, that they didn't have, like they have great artists there too, but like maybe they didn't have at that time like fine line or realism or like just doing little things and giving that, like, you know what I mean? Like just something that like everybody can go in and enjoy, right?
Absolutely. And to anyone who wants to take on that risk, what are the things that you think they should look out for before deciding to take those kind of risks? Is there anything?
Yeah, you could definitely do your research, right? Like if you were just going to pick a city at random, right? Like say if you were to start London now, there's so many shops, right? So Sarnia, they've grown too, right? Like since I've started, but like I did my research on, you know, knowing where the other shops were, how many there were, what styles they did. You can't just jump in like and just put up another shop beside someone who does the exact same thing as you. Like you can, but like, are you going to be as successful, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's the reason for the Hive success in Sarnia, right? Is just good. Is good timing.
Yeah.
Like timing's huge, right? So like right now, it's like it wouldn't be the best time. If I was to start over everything right now, it would be the worst for me. But I think everything that happened in my timeline worked out perfect for me. So it might not be the same for someone starting right now. You could still do it. I think it would just be a lot harder.
Yeah.
But there is a lot more information out there now and easy access to like all the information and everything, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think your story is very relatable. I told you this. I think, and honestly, I've heard very, very good things, and for good reason. I think you've kind of completely changed the feel and the look of what tattoo studios used to look like, tattoo shops used to look like. And like I said, I think that's why people are very drawn to you, because you've kind of taken something that people liked but was a little bit unprofessional. You kind of made it into this art.
Yeah, it's such a great feeling that almost every day I hear like somebody comes in, they're like, "Oh, this studio looks great."
Yeah.
And that's a great feeling alone, right? That could be a why right there, right? It's just having somebody walk in and they're like, "Wow," right?
Yeah.
It's just as soon as they step in, and I've tried to keep that look for all of them, right?
Yeah.
Even though the Hive and Neon are a completely different look, but I still want to have that like, the same feel when you walk in. It's comforting, right?
And I think that translates to many different businesses in the service industry. Like for example, like barbershops, or a lot of other things, like where I've walked into barbershops before, because I don't have any tattoos, but again, like like I go into a barbershop, and the difference between a professional looking spot where something as simple as, like you said, like the cleanliness, right? The cleanliness of the bathrooms, of the floors.
You notice that more as you get older too, right? Like you notice bathrooms and stuff, right?
100%.
Like it's like, oh wow, like it was before, like you just walk in, like when you're younger, you might not, right? But you really like, I think you really take that away, especially
even how like the pillowcases are how fluffed they are. They're not like it does make a big difference, and I think,
or if like the aesthetic matches like throughout, right?
Absolutely. So I think I honestly, like I think that there's a reason why you're successful at what you're doing, and I think you've taken a vision as a young kid and essentially turned it into what you wanted. And I'm not surprised that you're successful as you are, of course.
You got to find out something that you want to like, that you love, right? If you do what you love every day, it's like you're not really working, right? Like it's like I look forward to going into work when I have a fun piece. Like I look forward to that, right? So find your thing that you love, right? Because if you're stuck like working at like a factory or something that you hate every day, like that time is going to go by so slower, and the time that you're like relaxing or chilling is going to go by so much faster, right? Like I can take my stuff like when I go on vacation, right? Like I can take and work and not be like, oh, this is work, right? Like it's part of it, right? There's obviously going to be like shitty stuff too, right? That happens, like which sucks. Like I had like a water heater just break last week, right? So now you got to have like $2,000 gone for that, right? So it's like stuff like that, right? So you got to be ready for stuff like that, and it's not going to be fun, but like you got to find stuff that you do like.
Yeah. Well, actually, last question. I want to touch on this for a second before we finish. What do you say to someone whose passion may not be very profitable? What's something that you would say, like how do you turn that into a career? Because you're in the business of art now. Of course, like art for you is different because tattoo artists still make good money, but like but you are in the business of art. So if someone's passion might not be the most profitable thing, what would you say to them?
It's tough, right? Because like for me, like I said, like it all worked out that, and people even talk about like tattoo artists, like how much money they make and stuff like that. Like you can charge what you want an hour, but it's all based on, like what you can do. So I guess it's a hard question, because if you're not making money, like how do you do it, right? Yeah. Like I see people out there, they have amazing paintings or like amazing art in all different forms, right? But like, can you make a living off just being an artist? Yeah. Like that's what worked for me. Like I wanted to be an artist, but like how to make money off that, right? Like so that I also like thought about like all the digital like advertisement stuff like that. But it wasn't my thing. Like computers wasn't my thing. I liked all that hands-on stuff, right? But even if you like you could be the best drawer, but like where's the money, right?
Well, I think that in itself is a big learning lesson, because you basically, at the end of the day, what you do is art. Whether you do it on skin or on paper, you're still an amazing artist, right? So I guess basically seeing what your passion is and just thinking of different ways to monetizing it in the best way possible, which for you was, I'm great at drawing. What's the best way to monetize that? Maybe it's on people's skin, right? So I guess, that in itself is amazing.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a switch I had to make, like when I was going to school for police foundations, right? I'm like, this could be a great job, you know, the benefits, like the after, right? Like all that,
Yeah.
like all the money you could get after and stuff like that. It would be great, but how can I do something that I love but still make money, right?
Yeah.
So I think it'd be hard for somebody if their passion wasn't profitable, right?
Yeah.
So I guess how you would turn that in would I guess it would depend on what it is.
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense. Cool. Well, yeah, I think this was great. I think, like I said, I told you, and I will continue to say this, very relatable. Turning a passion into an actual successful business.
Yeah.
People were doubting you. People didn't like what you were doing, but you just continued to do it and you pushed through, and now you're at 4 different locations.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the change in how people see tattoos now too, right?
Absolutely.
And how my family sees me. Like they're excited about it. They're telling people now, whereas before they might not have wanted to, but now they're like, telling their coworkers, telling their friends, wearing my merch and stuff, right? It's great to see, right?
Yeah, so, it's such a rewarding feeling. I can imagine.
Definitely, yeah.
I can imagine. Well, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on and talking about your journey and actually giving insight to how you got to where you are today. And I genuinely think you have nothing less than so many bright things ahead. You've basically kind of revolutionized an industry in these small towns where people kind of had such negative thoughts over. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And then we'll see you on the next episode of the Founders Path.